Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Kuriboh Yugioh deck profile for post Brothers of Legend. In the latest Brothers of Legend booster set, we were given an immense amount of support for the Kuriboh deck. I think it was basically the main focus of the pack altogether. Kuriboh got the Kuriboh Brothers, the different forms of Kuriboh, which can then in turn summon out the Kuriboh Babylon, I would say the boss monster that Yugi used when he summoned these monsters out. Really awesome support. It completely changes the Kuriboh deck as to what it originally did with the Kuriboh support it had, including just a complete rewipe of how we played the deck originally with all the other Kuriboh cards. I really do like the results of the deck. It really does, feel like a playstyle Kuriboh would go for if it had this type of support. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the original Kuriboh. We are running 3 of this card. It was the first Kuriboh card ever introduced in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, and with it, during damage calc, if your opponent's monster attacks, quick effect, you can discard this card. You take no battle damage from that battle. So very standard card effect, but it also makes use of plenty of other cards in the deck, including Kuriboh, being able to revive this card for other resources, also Flute of Summoning Kuriboh to add it to your hand, and Multiply to give you Kuriboh tokens on the field to use with other cards we run in the deck, including Detonate. This is just one of the many different combos you can make use of, so you definitely need 3 Kuriboh in the deck altogether to use. The other Kuriboh we run is Winged Kuriboh. We're running 2 of this card. If this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard for the rest of this turn, you take no battle damage. So it just has to be destroyed. It doesn't have to be battle, card effect, you name it. It could be either or, and then you're just safe for the rest of the turn. It could be targeted and summoned out with Flute of Summoning Kuriboh. It can also be recycled with your Kuriboh. That's why it's another important aspect of the deck. But I'm only running 2 of it though. The Kuriboh Brothers are really the big part of the deck altogether with Kuriboh Babylon, but just good as an extra backup for your Kuriboh plays in the deck. And for the next card, we'll go ahead and start off with the boss monster. I only pulled 1 Kuriboh Babylon from 4 boxes, but I was so excited to do the deck profile update. Kuriboh Babylon focuses with its playstyle with your 5-star Twilight, if the only monster you control is a level 5 monster. So as added backup, if you only pull 1 or none Kuriboh Babylon, you can run Cyber Dragon as an added option to use with 5-star Twilight until you pull the Kuriboh Babylons you need. But this card, you get gains 300 attack and defense for each Kuriboh monster you control and in your graveyard. You can only use one of the following effects of Kuriboh Babylon per turn, and only once that turn. If you have more monsters in your graveyard than your opponent, you can special summon this card from your hand. And during your main phase or battle phase, or battle phase, remember that, you can return this card to the hand. And if you do special summon 5 monsters, Kuriboh, 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 and Kuriboh from your hand and or graveyard in attack position, this just gives you more resources, whether you want to summon them out and use them for additional extra deck plays, or just to then summon out in turn another option card from your hand. You have all this available to you with Kuriboh Babylon. Very useful, and we'll go over all the different Kuriboh brothers in just a moment. But definitely 3, it's just that resource that can set up all of your different Kuriboh plays in the deck. For the Kuriboh Brothers, I run 2 Kuriboh. I tried 3 ofs for all the brothers, but they were just getting too cloggy, I would say. You can set these cards up quite easily with many other cards in the deck, so relying on that and Kuriboh Babylon. With Kuriboh, this card's always treated as a Kuriboh card. Quick effect, you can discard this card to target 1 Kuriboh monster you control. It gains 1500 attack, and you can tribute this card you control on one of each Kuriboh, Kuriboh, and Kuriboh from your hand and or field to add 1 Kuriboh Bandit from your graveyard to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 Fiend monster from your hand. So if you did want to run Kuriboh Bandit in the deck, I'm not running it in this version. You can always take out a copy of Winged Kuriboh for a copy of Kuriboh Bandit. It's really not the biggest setup for graveyard plays. It can potentially give you some cards in the graveyard, but I wouldn't say they're as fast enough for the setup for your Kuriboh Babylon. You can in turn riskily set up too many cards you don't want in the graveyard thanks to Kuriboh Bandit. It's just too much of a risk with this card, but still good for the other setup, including cards like your Kuriboh with this card being always treated as a Kuriboh card as well. When this card or another Kuriboh you control is destroyed by battle, you can add one spell or trap from your deck to your hand that lists the card Kuriboh in its text. You can only use the effects of Kuriboh once per turn. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack while you control another Kuriboh monster, you can change the attack of all other monsters you control to 0 until the end of this turn. So with this option, it's a great way to search out the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh, Detonate, or Multiply, all these different search options. It makes you feel like when you're reading the individual Kuriboh brothers that, yeah, you could definitely run 3 of this card for its all-in-turn setup, but really then you just have to realize you have 4 brothers to work with, and they take up a big part of the monster count, since we do have to run Kuribabylon, Kuriboh, and Wing Kuriboh for all the other different Kuriboh monsters. That's why they are the main focus of this version of the Kuriboh deck as well. I also run 2 Kuriboh with this one. When this card or another Kuriboh monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can special summon one monster with 300 attack and 200 defense from your deck, except for Kuriboh. You can only use this effect of Kuriboh once per turn. You can tribute this card you control and one of each Kuriboh, Kuriboh, and Kuriboh from your hand and or field to special summon one Kuribabylon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Now, this is more of the go-to card. It is our boss monster in the deck, which in turn can set up our powerhouse monster on the field, gaining the attack for all the different Kuriboh monsters that we then have in our graveyard, and then can also summon back all the Kuriboh brothers to the field as well. But it's more or less, once again, just like how Kuriboh can search out Kuribandit and Kuriboh can search out the spell traps, a 2-of that you can easily set up with some other cards in the deck, including your Kuribabylon. And lastly, for the Kuriboh brothers, I also run 2 Kuriboh. This card is always treated as a Kuriboh card, just like all the other ones. And when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can discard this card and one Kuriboh to add one Kuriboh monster from your deck to your hand, except for Kuriboh. And once per turn, quick effect, you can discard one trap, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 1500 attack until the end of this turn. We do run one trap in the deck, just as more of a hand trap option against our opponent. So Kuriboh rarely comes up with that situation, but the search power for Kuriboh is definitely a nice touch, because Kuriboh works with so many other different spells we have in the deck. So the search power, if anything, this was the one I was least, argumentative about of which ones I wanted to run at 3. The other 3 could potentially be at 3 if you want to go for less of a hand trap option in the deck and max out on the Kuriboh brothers, but I would still keep Kuriboh at 2, even if I was going for that setup. For the last of the Kuriboh monsters, I also run 3 Kuriboh. This card was reprinted in the Brothers of Legend set, so very easy to obtain, but also I would say definitely needed. At the end of the battle phase, you can discard this card, then target one monster in your graveyard that was destroyed by battle and sent there this turn. Special summon it. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target any number of Kuriboh monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. They are all treated as Kuriboh monsters. Remember that. That means just more and more monsters that if they were destroyed after you set up with, let's say, Kuribabylon, you can revive them with Kuriboh and then gain all the additional searches all over again with your Kuriboh monsters. There's no restrictions with the Kuriboh monsters for the cards having the once per turns, and also any cards like that, they say they're banished after you use them. So just more and more graveyard recycle thanks to Kuriboh. For the last of the monsters for the main engine in the deck, I also run 3 Red-Haired Hasty Horse. I also thought of Solar Windjammer as a potential level 5 monster to summon out for a special summon. If there is a column with no cards, you can special summon this card from your hand in attack position to zone that column. You can only special summon Red-Haired Hasty Horse once per turn this way. If another card is placed in this card's column, destroy this card. And once per turn, you can half this card's original attack for the rest of this turn. If you do, it can attack directly. The big part of this card is just like Cyber Dragon, it gives you a level 5 monster easily on the field. There's really not much column setup you need for the Kuriboh deck. So you can set up your Red-Haired Hasty Horse first off, and then use it with your main go-to spell card, which is your 5-star Twilight. Having the level 5 monster, you don't just need Kuribabylon with this card, it just says a level 5 monster, so having this option is definitely needed to have more resources than just the Kuribabylon to special summon out. For the rest of the monsters in the main deck, just running 2 Effect Veiler. It's the hand trap plus another level 1 option, so we can go into some of our Link 1 monsters in the extra deck, and also our rank 1 monsters if we need be with the Kuriboh monsters. Just monster effect negation, just like Infinite Permanence, which we are also running in the deck. Preferred choice over Ash Blossom. That is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 5-star Twilight. If the only monster you control is a level 5 monster, tribute that monster, special summon 5 monsters, 1 Kuriboh, and Kuriboh from your hand, deck, and or graveyard, but they cannot be tribute for a tribute summon. You can activate 1 5-star Twilight per turn. This amazing setup can be the power you need to set up all your different Kuriboh plays, and why we only run 2 of each of the Kuriboh brothers. If you can set up a level 5 monster and you have this card, you have your play for all your different Kuribohs as well. That is what's definitely needed and why this is a 3 of in the deck. If you open it up and the many different level 5 monsters we have, like I said, it's just a search power for all the Kuriboh brothers onto the field. And I also run 2 Flute of Summoning Kuriboh. The only reason I run 2 of this card is I would say 5-star Twilight is definitely a much better special summon resource. And also for the fact that we're only running 2 Wing Kuriboh for this card search. You can search out Kuriboh with it also, but Kuriboh already has its better search with 5-star Twilight. So then you can just rely on Flute of Summoning Kuriboh as more of a defensive card to get Wing Kuriboh on the field if need be to use against a wall for your opponent. I also run the 2 Multiply. It has Kuriboh in its text, so it can be searched out thanks to the good old spell search to give you the resource thanks to your Kuriboh, giving you that play for that search power for either Multiply or any of the other spells, including Flute of Summoning Kuriboh, giving you tokens to then work with your Detonate spell card. This card destroys as many Kuriboh and Kuriboh tokens you control as possible, then destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of destroyed by this effect. It's very, very useful just to take out any cards your opponent may have set up against you, as the name suggests. So I only run 2 though. You need the Kuriboh tokens, which works in turn with Multiply, so these cards really only see play after you'd set up your 5-star Twilight play to begin with. And for the 1-ofs, I run 1 for 1. It can special summon any monster in the deck aside from the Curry Babylon level 5 monsters. 1 Monster Reborn, getting resources back from the graveyard. 1 Call by the Grave, and 1 Upstart Goblin. The main go-to life points, because we're really not going for a big kill play in this deck. It's mostly just to wear down your opponent with all your different Kuriboh searches, destructions, and then build up for your Curry Babylon with this card. So you can give your opponents a little life if it means you can draw into some very, very vital cards that the deck may need, like 5-star Twilight. And then that is it for the spells. The only trap we're running in the deck is Infinite Impermanence. Yes, it is a discard card potential for our Kuriboh. Would I do it most of the time? No, but the option is available most of the time only if I need to go for, let's say, the attack winning game, making my opponent's monster lose that attack. But still much, much better as a card that can just shut down my opponent's monster effects on the field. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. With a Kuriboh deck, we run the 1 Link Kuriboh. Pretty standard. It can be used and summoned out with any of the Kuriboh monsters. The 1 Witch's Apprentice, the majority of monsters for the deck that we run are Dark, all the Kuriboh brothers, and Kuriboh. So another Link 2 that can power up those monsters on the field, not just them, including Curry Babylon being a Dark attribute monster. And also 1 Underclock Taker, just lowering my opponent's monster's power, especially with this card, comes in handy. 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Akashic Magician, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Decode Talker, 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. If you didn't want to run this card, I know it's pretty pricey at the moment, you can run Nightmare Cerberus instead to go with Unicorn and Phoenix as another destruction option. 1 Saryuja, 1 Borlo, these cards especially with just how easy it is to get 5 monsters on the field to make use of. And for the Xyz monsters, 1 Lear Lusk Ensemble Robin. It needs 2 or more level 1 monsters, and then just having the option for bouncing cards against your opponent can really come in handy, especially if you can overlay all 5 of the Kuribohs into this card. And 1 Sylvan Princess Sprite, along with 1 Downward Magician and 1 Divine Arsenal Zeus Sky Thunder, for more of the Xyz options available to overlay on either of the other rank 1 monsters, then go into Downward and then your Zeus. As for the go-to plays, relying on your level 5 monsters and your 5-star Twilight, whether it be your Curry Babylon or your red-haired Hasty Horse, you have all the options available to you if you open up these 2 cards, or, like I said, the 1-star Twilight, or 5-star Twilight, and one of the level 5 monsters. Summoning out your Hasty Horse, just make sure not to activate the 5-star Twilight in the same column as this card, and then if the only monster you control is a level 5 monster, you tribute that monster, special summon 5 monsters, and then that would be Kuriboh and the Kuriboh brothers. So Kuriboh, and then Kuriboh, Ba, and then Boo. That gives you 5 monsters on the field. They just can't be tributed, but you still have plenty of other options to use with these cards, giving you the 5 monsters as resources on the field, whether you use them for their own search effects, the protection against your opponent. The possibilities are endless with these cards, and then also with the option to special summon out Curry Babylon. If you do use all these cards for resource, means that you set up 5 monsters in your graveyard. So if you do additionally have Curry Babylon in your hand, You can then special summon this card out after you used all those monsters for, let's say, any of your extra deck resources on the field. Then giving you that option with Curry Babylon, powering up this card since you have the 5 different Kuriboh monsters in your graveyard, along with the special summon option to get them all back onto the field. As long as that field is clear, which you can easily do by stopping your opponent's attack with Link Kuriboh, giving you those monsters on the field to reuse again next turn. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I am definitely excited for more deck updates from the Brothers of Legend set. So look forward to it, and definitely opening up more of that set on the channel. So whichever you're most excited for, definitely look forward to it. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.